Welcome back, everybody. This is Brothermutant here. Today we're going to continue our journey with Eldritch, our main magus, and our ragtag team of subcasters. If you recall from our last episode, we just got our barony. Actually, almost got our barony. We're at our coronation right now, so let's actually get into that. Well, here we are at our coronation. Now remember, we've talked with everybody already in the room with the exception of our sponsor, Jamandi Eldori. We even talked to Joseph Slimius, and he actually gave us a bonus of some such. And we got a bonus from Zvonky Keeg as well for a request to make a temple, I believe. We've talked to some other people, and they were really responsible for suggesting we shouldn't use Castle Eldori as a envoy, that we should take them instead, and they're basically slimy and sleazy as all hell, so we said pass. Well, we haven't said anything, matter of fact. So we consider your offer, but which means we've got to pass. We're here, ready to rock and roll, so let's actually get into it. Now, today's episode, I do apologize in advance for being so long since my last episode, because I've been exploring with my Sword Saint, which is a different character I've been working on, solo build, and they're fun. But today's episode probably will not include any combat, if at very least minor combat, if we get out of this area, because we'll do this little tutorial for how to set up our base, and I want to walk you guys through a couple things real quick for those of you that are actually interested in the base building aspect of this game. I don't know everything about it, but I've read up a lot online in the past week to try to make sure I don't make a mistake, so hopefully I won't make god-awful errors and steer you in the wrong direction. Well, let's talk to Eldori.
So, how do you like our little gathering? I hope you've made some useful connections. Shall we move on to the official proceedings?
Now, you can literally suggest a different envoy at this point if you go with suggestion 1. If you click this, don't feel bad if you made the mistake and you're like, oh, I just wanted to pick him again. You can totally do that, so don't feel bad about clicking 1. If you think you made a mistake and you still want to pick him, you can do so. If you haven't talked to everybody, obviously you went to Eldori first for whatever reason, you can go back and say, oh, I'd like to speak to guests some more, and go back and re-socialize. But then, obviously, if you're done, this is what you want to. Yes, let's begin.
Excellent. Stand here.
Okay, stand here. Sippy sip of the wicked juice of coffee.
Lords and ladies, today we are here to honor 3 brave people who have done the impossible. They've tamed the stolen lands. Baron Hannes Drelev, the new master of Glenabon, Captain Maegor Varn, the conqueror of Dunsword, and finally, the tamer of the Shrike Hills, who put an end to the atrocities of the Stag Lord's bandits. Step forward. On behalf of the people of the free city of Restov, I confer upon you this noble title. Rise, your grace.
Literally. Okay, so now they're going to walk us through our barony. And it's, this was the old Stag Lord's property. So they've already started to refurbish it. So supposedly some days have gone by as they've rebuilt while we were at the coronation. And this will be our main hub, so to speak. So this will be where we talk with people, do our envoys, train up, buy things. Of course, we'll have vendors here, and more vendors will show up, from what I understand, as time progresses. I haven't gotten much farther than where we're at right now, just to be honest with you guys. So, like, I've explored a little bit, but I haven't really done any of this.
The Stag Lord's dead, and the capital of the new barony has been built in place of his fort. That was how the long and challenging taming of the stolen lands began.
Yay! And the helmet that we gave someone else. I think we actually gave that to our sneak thief. I think so. Alright, green awareness, green awareness. Thank you. Yes, yes. Bow, peasants, bow. Alright, so here's Keston. He is going to welcome us and give us a little speech about the area, what we're going to do, you know, how we got here, etc. and so forth. So. Fortunately, I'm a pack rat when it comes to things, so I've been hoarding like crazy, selling off stuff that I know that is complete garbage, you know, like unloading in multiple times packs of gear, just so I could get, you know, a couple grand extra. and that's so that I can buy stuff that I think I may need. Now, it's more important, I'd say, early on, especially for a solo run, to have as much money as possible, because that way you can outfit your only character with the best of everything, and have maybe a multiple weapons or multiple gear to switch out of as the need arises. From there, we are going to kit out our merc team, remember? And these guys are technically subpar compared to the main characters. Remember, our main characters have been leveling up slowly because we haven't been really taking them with us. So one of the things that we're going to need to do is figure out who, so we can train one at a time if I remember correctly, who we want to train up to our equivalent level. So if we have people that are subpar now from the main team, so to speak, then this is our chance. Now, of course, we will take others with us because, again, we will unlock their quests. For instance, there's side quests based on your companions. So that would be nice to level them up and get those quests. But there is a way to train individuals, and then they literally spontaneously, after like a week's worth of training, boom, suddenly they're level equal to yours or close to yours. I forget how exactly it works, but we can keep an eye on it and see how that unfolds. So here's our barony, and this is our tutorial for it. And basically, it's going to tell us what we want to do to make sure that everything runs well, that we have a good government, seizing new properties, increasing our settlements, and all that fun stuff is going to be something that's applicable to us. So now he's going to give us our handoff. This is our barony effects, and this is going to be important. There's going to be a variety of things that literally increase steadily, hopefully. Community is like your population size. Loyalty, obviously, how loyal people are to you. They'll riot, for instance, I think is what this is implying. Military, so when we defend our settlements. Economy, money coming in, as well as building points, BP. You'll see that thrown around quite a bit. That's how we build structures. Divine, obviously, this is like our religious center. Arcane, again, our magical center. Our ability to research things, because I'm assuming what these two imply, whether it's divine or arcane. Stability, of course. And then we have all these new events. Notice the laundry list that we have here, guys. Trade agreement with Sertova. Agreement with Joseph Slemius, that's the one we talked about not too long ago. It's Vanki's offer, and that was basically of her. That's the one I'm thinking of. It's the, maybe that's the trade agreement with Sertova. Now we'll see. We can actually go to each and every one of these and read up on them. But notice how we have pillage the Temple of the Elk, rebuild the Temple of the Elk, so obviously one or the other is an option. Octavius training, Ragongar's training, and training for Harem, Christian, Amiri, Jathal. You get the idea. The reason for their training is because they are subpar, because we haven't been using them. And while that's not like that big of a deal, if we want to make them advisors, and we probably do, the way advisors work is they have a stat that's specific for their ability to do their job. Intelligence, constitution even, wisdom. And depending on which one we're slotting them in, if, for example, we give something to Octavia who has a decent intelligence, and the intelligence is the stat that bumps up her chances of succeeding, we can also outfit her with equipment that gives her a higher intelligence, and that will increase her chances. So again, this is why you almost want to always use, I'd say, your characters, your teammates. The non-player characters, for example, like Kazal Aldori, you can pick him for things, but you can't outfit him with gear. There's no way for you to level him up, so to speak. So there's no way for you to increase his intelligence, his wisdom, his con, his whatever. It's just whatever he's default set at. Now, he may get better over time through training, but we can't take him out in the field and train him up like we would anybody else. So that's the thing. Notice how we also have research into the nature of curses, Davik Nettle. Remember Nettle, Nettle's Crossing, if I'm not mistaken, that was the one where the guy got cursed. He was the undead, gave us a spear, wasn't it? Maybe he's a family member? That'll be interesting. And we're going to come across a lot of curses from what I understand. Solve most of your barony's problems by granting appointments to the right people, responsible people, but certain state business will demand personal attention, as will the visits of especially important guests. Reports of such outstanding events will be marked on your map. You can always check it while considering your plans. Difficulty level of barony. Now this is just letting you know that there is a wimp clause where you can literally set it to automatic, where you will never fail, and not say that you will be awesome, but you will never lose the barony, which means you can at least complete the game You will not be able to do all the side quests and cool stuff because that's unlocked by your governing ability. So those things you won't. But if you just want to get through the game, see what it has to offer before going through and officially playing as a second official playthrough, I would highly suggest you put it in automatic, because then you really don't have to fiddle around with all this silliness. It's not that this is a bad thing. I'm sure there's plenty of people that enjoy running the barony. I can't stand it. I've already done it so many times minorly that I can't stand the little nitpicking crap, and even the tutorial bugs me because it really don't tell you a lot of stuff. Let me give you a for instance here. First was my advice is available to you, Clerics Jod and Tristan would like to talk to us, so that's our first chance to talk to somebody about a problem, and it's an automatic thing, so they're just going to come over and talk to us. So here's Jod. Your Grace, allow me to congratulate you on receiving the title of Baroness. I'm confident that you'll be able to bring order to these troubled lands. He stumbles slightly. Though, to be honest, that isn't exactly what we wanted to speak to you about. Tristan and I have been talking a great deal about what happened at the Temple of the Elk. It doesn't all make sense to us yet. One thing is clear, there's a powerful curse at work. It corrupted the very essence of that sacred place, shaping it with putrescence. Ugh, I am disgusted with whoever could do this. He exhales loudly, catching his breath. And now there's a new woe. Tristan and I believe the curse did not simply disperse of its own accord. Hence the reason that we're in research of curses here. There's a place near the capital rumored by the locals to be cursed. Tristan and I visited the dreadful place, and we felt the same putrescence at the Temple of the Elk. What is this place? Where is it? And we revealed the bald hilltop as a result. There is a bald hilltop not far from here to the north of the capital. Its crown is entirely barren of life. The locals believe that rituals glorifying the dark gods were held there. Back in ancient times, there is no longer any trace of such rituals, but the air around the hilltop is heavy to the point of stifling. This place is like a rotting wound, closed but not healed. And this wound will undoubtedly open again. Tristan and I felt something approaching, something ominous. The curse will soon return to plague us once more. I swear by Aristil, or that's his Gizgod. I'll go there as soon as I'm able. I'd be happy to accompany you, but I would not expect to see anything new there at present. I agree with Tristan. We have been to the hilltop. It's barren, but filled with a dense atmosphere of unease. Well, what do you suggest? The curse will grow in strength, and we predict it will reach the peak of its strength in about 1 month. That's your cue. That's when we should visit the bald hilltop and resolve the issue. Smack down whatever's there. So you've got 30 days to prep for this, is what they're basically telling you. You can go earlier, you can go later. There is a time limit, though, and that will be in your journal, so that's something to pay attention to, guys. For now, we can only wait and prepare. We beg your pardon, Your Grace, for intervening with you getting the grasp of your barony. I'm sure you have even more pressing matters at hand right now. Yeah, like other curses. Okay, so the ancient curse. Once again, will be in your journal. Now we're going to get into how to set up advisors, how to pick missions for those advisors and train up people, and then we're also going to get into how to build things for our town. That's going to be important, so I almost forgot that the other day. The barony has 10 basic stats, each supervised by an advisor. So now here's your stats. Population, regent, loyalty, counselor. So these, in parentheses, are the advisors' titles. So the regent, the counselor, military has a general, economy has a treasurer, religion, high priest, foreign affairs, grand diplomat, stability is the warden. That's con. I know specifically that's a constitution one, so you'd want to put like Valerie as a warden, for instance. Magic, the magister. Culture curator, that's to me sounds like happy times, the culture of the town and how happy they are, like museums and shit to look at. And espionage, the minister. Now note, when we get into this, some of these are going to be locked, and that's normal, so don't freak out. Oh, I don't have enough points in blah, so therefore I don't have it. It's not exactly how this works. Some you have to rank up and level up fast because they will unlock espionage. They will unlock something else. So again, that's something that I highly advise you guys look up online. So if you know you want to be really good at espionage, figure out how to get there as fast as possible online. There's plenty of Reddit and tutorials out there. That's how I'm getting my information, and I'm trusting that they're reasonably accurate. So hopefully I'm not passing on old information to you guys. But this is, again, normal. So you'll see like 6, I think, they give you access to, and 4 more that we have to figure out. Stats increase in your governance is successful and decrease if events don't end well. So obviously the better you do at stuff, the more likely you are to have happy people. The more you mess up, the more likely you are to riot. So we don't want stats to drop down. That's basically a point here. Every 20 points we get, we can increase our stat rank from rank 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and on it goes. it takes a while to get them points, and there's ways for those to go down to, so you obviously don't want that problem. So keep an eye on your points, and make sure that you're ranking them up when they finally get to the ability to rank them up. Governing your barony require one advisor for each stat. We're going to talk about that here once we get to advisors. We have 4 advisors available right now. There's 5 slots though, so there's going to be 1 slot that we just don't give anyone a position because there's no one available at this time for that position, which really screws us. Governing your barony will require 1 advisor for each stat. You may appoint your companions as well as some of the Stoneland citizens, and again, we'll come into these advisors if they're not here right now. We'll find them and try to persuade them to join us. Again, I do not recommend them. Sometimes there's reasons to use them, like you have to take a party member with you so they can't be at the main base to do that job, because it will tie them up. But since we're not doing that, we're doing mercs. I don't particularly deal with them. The only time then that would be an issue for me is if I really don't have another advisor that's, again, part of the core team that can fill the role, because let's say I'm doing Hiram's side mission. He has to be with us to do it. So I can't use him as the advisor, and there's no one in his place that would fill that goal. At that point, I have no choice but to slap in somebody else. And it's what it is. You're going to have no choice at some time, but you want an advisor in a role at every time, from what I understand, because at least it gives you a better chance to succeed. Every advisor acts on their own ideology. That's going to be important. So basically, if they're Mr. Doom and Gloom Hiram, they may not be the best person for sunshine and happiness missions. So pay attention to that. And again, this I think more than that, not only their ideology, it's kind of tied into their alignment. So if you notice that someone's chaotic, stupid, you probably don't want them, again, also being in charge of the happy times of the people, or the treasure. This is kind of the thing here. So pay attention to their alignment. And for the real hard part is you're going to have advisors, again, that are people that are NPCs. You don't know what their alignments or their stats are. You can guess. You can kind of figure it out based on the way they behave, I'd say. There's a guy that everyone's arguing on Reddit right now whether he's lawful neutral, which is what they say he is, versus his clear and obvious attempts of being chaotic neutral. The dude's basically an asshat. And there's nothing lawful about him. I mean, he's lawful evil, I could believe, but he's not doing that either. He's basically just, screw you, I'm in charge, and he's not in charge. So, without spoiling it for you, I'll leave that to your devices to figure out who he is. But yeah, you have to kind of guess, again, for NPCs, because you do not have a spreadsheet to look at and say, oh, he does this, and he has this much intelligence or this much wisdom. You don't have a clue. You just kind of have to run with it. What else we want to know about this? The advisors tab over here will be how we appoint them. Excuse me, the hiccups. Every barony stat gains a bonus from a specific ability of the appointed advisor. That, again, is your intelligence, your wisdom, your dex, your con, your whatever. And it will say, it'll be like a little picture card when you appoint your advisor. You'll see a plus blah on that card, more likely than not. And therefore, you'll know that they have this much of a bonus. That bonus is because of whatever stat that's applicable. So it's pretty easy to figure out for those of your characters where you have access to their sheets. You can see that by flipping open the sheet and saying, oh, he has a +2. Oh, it looks like his wisdom is 14. That's probably why he's a +2, because he's getting a +2 bonus from wisdom. You get the idea. So again, you can kind of figure it out the hard way. But there's, again, tutorials online that can walk you through that stuff. Only advisors may address the problems, opportunities, and sudden events that occur in your domain and require immediate attention. Don't leave these positions vacant. That is a real good point. Notice that we have events, problems, and opportunities, and they really are almost listed in that way. Now, opportunities are just like it sounds, ways to increase your barony, make yourself happy, and blah, blah, blah. Good things come from opportunities, obviously. They are not necessary, as far as I can tell. Problems, on the other hand, you always, if you can, try to address them. Not saying you need to address them immediately, because there's a time limit on these things, but you definitely want to get on top of these more than opportunities. The reason for that is the problems can snowball real fast, and your stats for your base really start going down as a result of too many failures because of problems, and then it snowballs from there because you have a penalty each time you go down a tier. That's not cool. Events of again are other things like opportunities and problems that will happen periodically, so pay attention to those. But by and large, I'd say problems is your main focus. All right, now we get to rename our stolen lands, and what are we going to call this place? Let's call it a Ville. What kind of Ville are we? Are we a villain? No. Maggotsville. There we go. Welcome. Okay, so now, first let's WASD and scroll through our area. Notice how we have this golden area here. This is our lands. Now we have Varnhold over here, Silver Step over yay, Tors of Lavinius, Dunsword. These are other territories that we do not have access to. I mean, we can get to them, we can't take them over. This one we can take over. See how it's a different color? This is the outskirts. This is where Oleg and all his people are at. So you know that we're familiar with this area. North Gnarl Marches. And the downside is I really have a difficulty on the open land map, not this map, but the open land map, of finding out where our territories are. There's no clear and obvious delineation, no river that separates it. I mean, yes, you see this river here is pretty close. But I don't really see it on the overland map. Maybe I'll have to pay more attention and I'll see it. I just don't see the delineation. I wish they'd put like a dot to let you know that this is your area. Because fighting in your area is actually kind of important. Kinglands and on it goes. So we have a very, very huge map to cover here, guys. South Gnarl Marches, Dire Gnarl Marches, and I think, oh, here's Patak, excuse me. Oh, good lord. And the Thousand Voices. Oh, that sounds bad. Here's some mountains. What the hell does that say? Branth Land. New area. That must be a non-player area. Glenabon. Getting back to the North Marches. Yeah, so you get the idea. We have quite a bit. Here's our Thorn River. And our Shrike River. So we know we're in. This was the Shrike Hills, remember? So this is why it says Shrike right there. So this is our property. I wish they'd rename this based on that, but I guess this is the name of our town. We're basically on the Shrike. So we can get the outskirts to join us, and that's something that we can do. If we want to build stuff, we click on this here, and they'll literally take us to the inside of the town, and we can build on that. But let's actually look at our projects. Notice we have 12, and they're split amongst these categories. So we have rank up, no, economy 5, 6 for training, that's 11, and 1 curse, that's 12, and nothing in other right now. We have 1 regional thing that we want to discuss, and 4 advisors to point. Now, let's do the advisors first, because we have a limited pick for advisors. Again, you see how we have 5 choices right now. Remember, there are 10 things eventually that we'll get. Our military and our magic and our divine and all that fun stuff. This is what we're talking about. So these are the appointees for these various positions. So here's the 5 that we have access to right now. So here's the regent's job. We have the counselor, the general, the treasurer, and the high priest. Now let's start at the first one. Here's a regent. Regent ensures subjects' complaints and concerns are heard by their ruler and serves as links between the baroness and the people. So obviously someone that's going to talk with you is someone that you want. Notice how we have both Valerie and Octavia. We're getting a +2 from either of them. It's charisma based. They both have a +2 thanks to their charisma. So they have a 14 for charisma, I'm assuming is what that means. Octavia always strives to solve problems peacefully. Valerie strives to follow the letter of the law. Now, concerns. That's not necessarily the letter of the law. That may be something of a problem for Valerie. So I would suggest Octavia. And there's no right answer here, I should tell you that right now. They'll just handle things differently. Okay, and again, it's all towards your playstyle too. If you are a letter of the law type person, then go with Valerie. If Octavia, doing what makes the most sense to me is helping the people, these are the people that you're building your kingdom on, you really want to listen to your people, I would say. So I'm going with Octavia. Counselor. Counselor deals with troubles of the common folk and helps settle land disputes and agricultural matters. Now this one would be great for Valerie if they gave us the choice. I don't think that's going to be her though. This advisor ensures citizens remain loyal to the throne. Loyalty statistic indicates the citizens' favor towards the Baroness's methods. We're only getting one choice here, Tristan. So it's a no-brainer. He's our guy. General. The general is the highest ranking officer in the army of the barony and responsible for... Oh, I should go back one. Hold on a second. Wisdom. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure to show you that. The general is the highest ranking officer in the army of the barony and is responsible for watching the borders and protecting the realm. Well, military statistic represents the barony military prowess, and its ability to defend against threats. So obviously the better you're at military, the better you're at fighting off the random horde that comes by. Notice how we have multiple people here. Strength is the main stat here. And we have Castle, he's strong. He's just as strong as Ragangar, so he's got to be at 18 strength or 19 strength. Amiri's close, but not great. So Ragangar's clearly our guy here, but he's hot-headed and direct. Amiri favors the direct approach. Castle always tries to help those in need. So this is the different styles. He's good, she's decent. We can bump her up with a strength belt, for instance. That's a way to get her up to a +4. But I could just as easily do that to these guys, or this guy, and he could be a +5. So there's no reason to pick her over him, except for the hot-headed part. So I could see that being a problem. So I'm going to pick Castle Aldori for the time being. And yes, I said that it's probably a bad idea, but I don't think I have a strength belt that I want to give to this, or anybody anyway. I want to keep that on my team, because we're going to need it in fights. So for the time being, he'll be our general. Treasurer, notice how we have no candidate for this position available. So there really is no one that we can slap in that one. High Priest, on the other hand, no matter what the deity serves, deity he serves, the High Priest strives to satisfy the spiritual needs of all citizens in the barony. So don't have to worry about the fact that somebody's love and air still or whatever. It literally does not matter. They're still the High Priest. They will see your needs. The divine statistic reflects the barony's piety and support of religious works in the region. And we can pick Jod or Harem. And again, notice that it is a wisdom stat. Remember, Jod, we cannot upgrade. Harem, we can. So let's do Harem. Okay? Now, we've picked Tristan, Harem, and Octavia. This guy, of course, but he's not part of our party anyway. The reason that that's important is because in training, I don't know that you can train them while they're being the advisor we set them up to be. You understand? So Octavia would be out, Harem would be out, Tristan would be out. So we could do Ragangar, we could do Amiri, or Jaethal. And Jaethal is one that I was going to bring with me anyway, remember? So I don't necessarily need to level her up. Yes, it'd be nice, because I could like poof her up like real fast. But I'm going to bring her with anyway, so she'll level up naturally. Amiri, on the other hand, is someone that we might want to bring out eventually. Same with Ragangar, he's pretty strong and tough. So he's a decent choice for pulling up naturally. But let's do Amiri. So notice how we have to choose an advisor to level her up. Octavia always strives for it. She's a regent. But just because she's slapped as a regent doesn't mean that we can't do this training. She's not been picked for anything other than you're in charge of being an advisor. There's no mission for her. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we're okay picking her for this. Okay. Notice how it costs BP. It requires 7 days to solve. So notice your time frame. Okay, we're on the 5th month is what I'm seeing here, and on the 31st day. So literally it's the end of the month. The first day of the month will be tomorrow. And then the 6th month, so June, I guess, but it won't be called that. So 7 days into it, and then she will train. Okay, it doesn't say anything about a DC check, so I'm assuming that means she just levels up, poof, guaranteed. As long as you spend the BP and the required amount of days and have an advisor, in this case Octavia, doing the project, she will level up in 7 days, which is kind of nice. So we're going to start project. Now, you see these other ones are still here, and we can level up these guys as well if we wanted to. But again, we already have one going, so I'm cool with that. From there, let's just look at them all just so that we can get it off our screen. Because it was up here in the corner. Region, we have claim the outskirts. Now notice how this one has your picture associated with it. We have to choose an advisor as well. Someone's involved in something right now, so don't look like we can pick her. We'd have to pick, say, Tristan. A lot of BP, and it takes 14 days to solve. And because it's using us, if we did that and did start the claim, it would automatically force us through 14 days, guys. Nothing wrong with that. We want to claim the outskirts eventually. I don't want to do it today, so we're going to pass on that one. We're not going to make it go away. We're just going to leave it there in the corner. Okay. Now, again, the outskirts is this area up here. Yes, we would like to get it. Then we want to expand. That's part of our job. But we also need to take care of our base. We haven't even so much as built anything yet, so we kind of want to pay attention to that. Let's look at our curse. Here's the only curse that we can research right now. David Nell. Now that the Undead Engineer's curse has been lifted, it might be prudent to study it and be more prepared next time. So that was the guy that was giving us the spear. Yeah, so we were right, Nettles Crossing. Choose an advisor. Harem could do it. 45 days to solve it. So again, it's going to take a while, and that locks him up for 45 days. That means he, unless we cancel it, which I think we can do, he's tied up then for 45 days, and we can't use Harem or put him on another job, so to speak. And again, I'm not adverse to doing this, but I'm going to pass on it for just probably the first week, and then we'll get into it. Economy-wise, let's look at what we got here. Now we have a trade agreement with Sertova. Our merchants will receive the right to establish a sizable trading post in the heart of New Stetvan. Each city in the barony gains an extra 5 BP per week. That's nice. 2 BP for each town, and 1 BP for each village. Very nice. Village is what we're at right now. So, that's not bad. That we don't have an advisor for that position, that's our problem. So, where was that? So, that's an issue. Project costs 1,500 BP. We don't have enough funds. It requires 60 days to solve it. And then, of course, starting the project. So, obviously, we're not doing that one today. Agreement with Joseph Slomius. Lord Mayor of Restov has offered 500 BP in financial assistance in exchange for your promise to work exclusively with Restov's Builders Guild, so a union. It's a generous offer, but who knows what consequences this would have for the barony. Well, money's money, and this is what building points technically is in this game for building stuff. So this is still like getting financial assistance, but again, no advisors. So this is probably another position we have to unlock. It only takes 7 days to solve it, so surely we're going to want it at some point. And 500 BP, that's a big jump. You'll see here in a moment. Isvanki's offer. Isvanki Keeg, the High Priest of Aristil from Restov, has a strong interest. Oh, this is the gentleman, excuse me. I thought this was the lady. This is a gentleman that we talked to at the very end of the last video. Has a strong interest in spreading the Stag God's faith across the region. He is eager to build a shrine dedicated to Aristil on your lands, and we like Aristil, but at his own expense. Accept his offer if you wish to gain a useful ally and a place of worship for Aristil. Sounds like a pretty good idea. And again, 7 days to solve it. Now this one, I'm okay with. We're going to leave that there right now. We're not going to start it. I think it'll save them in this position. Notice how we have a +6. So we get a leader bonus and a +2 stat rank bonus. So we're actually doing pretty decent for this chance to solve this problem. Start project. Doesn't say anything about DC check though. Pillage the Temple of the Elk. Plunder the Temple of the Elk and rob it of all remaining treasure. For doing that, we get 150 BP. Prevents future restoration of the temple. So now, it costs 10 BP to do it. We could send Castle Eldori to ransack the place. It requires 14 days to solve it. And then we'll get burn up 10, but we get 150 BP for it. Here is the other option. Rebuild the Temple of the Elk. Restore the Temple of the Elk to its former glory, making it the center for Aristil's worship in all surrounding areas. Unlocks a special region upgrade. Like the sound of that. Prevents pillaging the temple. So again, you can either or it. And now see how we have Harem already picked on this one? Now we have to pick on this one. And it's a 60-dayer. So, which do you rather have? You want them here? Using 100 BP, that's a lot of BP, to restore the temple, which again will give you something. Or we could do that other one for 7 days and then do it. I like that idea better. We get this one first, and that solves this problem in a week. And then if we need to, we can put Harem then at that point on the other one. I think we have until the end of the next month to resolve many of these issues. So be aware of that. So let's start that project. So we've locked that in. So that does all of them. And I'm happy with all that. Now let's go to the town. We click on the town itself. The village, excuse me, of Tuskdale. And we're going to rename it. You're not Tuskdale, you're Magisdale. Exit. Okay, welcome to Magisdale. Here's our community stats, and we're sucking wind like crazy here. Enter. We are going to start building. Okay, here we go. Constructing buildings, blah, 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 blah. Buildings, more buildings, buildings with some buildings. Okay, let me give it to you the short and skinny version. Okay, here's the view of the area. Notice how you don't really see a whole lot of anything. Go to build. Now here's the stuff we can build in the area. Notice the color coding system You see the blue tile, see the piers, chances are that's where you can build here. Because it's on water, it makes sense, right? It's not that I couldn't build a shop necessarily there, but looks like it's limiting us because it is on the water. So if you want a pier, here's your spot to put it. This spot over here is all by its lonesome. Well, notice, where is it? Watchtower says could not be built in a separate slot, or sorry, could only be built in a separate slot, which is like what we're saying here. Same with windmill, can only be built in a separate slot. These are the only locations. Notice how everything grays out if you kick them. So again, we only have one of these spots. So do we want a watchtower there, or do we want a windmill there? And we only have 425 BP now to spend. That's why we did all those chores earlier, so we knew what our final total was. We don't want to burn up all this. You don't want to have negative BP, and there's the potential to lose BP, so we don't want to have that issue. We're going to get more BP as we level up and as we go weeks on end, but I want to keep that from being real low, so we'll probably keep about 100 in reserve at least. But we have things like barracks, brewery, dancing hall, and if you highlight these, you can see to the left that they pop up a little Q. So we're getting a +1 to military by slapping in a barracks. And that's for our stats that we have over here. Notice how we have community, rank 1, same with loyalty, military, economy, and divine. So we have quite a few, right? We don't have relations yet, arcane, stability, culture, and espionage. And again, these are the ones that unlock later on, right? So we are currently earning 32 BP per week. So we aren't negative, so that's good, but that's not great either. That's not a lot of BP every week, so we want to get more. Part of the reason we're low is we are being taxed by Restov, our ally, and we're also getting a stipend from them. The stipend and the taxes will go away once we get to a certain level, so there is that. But that certain level means we're losing our stipend, right? But then they're also losing the half of our building points are going away to Restov, half are coming to us, so that's another thing. So obviously that's going to be something that's affecting us later. But we want to look at these and see what things raise up stuff. So we have military here, relations, loyalty and culture, community, loyalty again, community, divine, and culture. That's a nice one. So that gives us 3 different things for a simple 50 BP cost. And it's a longhouse, so can be upgraded to a town hall, requires a town to do that, and then once it does that, we get a +1 to loyalty. So that's 4 things it'll give us. Notice how it has effects on artisan shops, artisan studio, artisan workshop, barracks, and a bunch of other shit. So this is your key to let you know that this is an important building. I'm going to put it in essential. From there, we're down to 375 now. I want piers. Warehouses and workshops for docking ships and handling cargo and passengers can only be built in a water slot. Effects of lumber yard. Gives us economy, which sounds great to me. Economy in this game is not only money, but I'm fairly certain it's also building points are important. So the better your economy, the better your building points. So that's good. We have that blank spot up there. So watchtower or windmill. Watchtower gives us espionage. Windmill gives us community. Notice there's other things though that it affects. +1 to community if located in a settlement with a granary or a brewery. +2 if there's both, so 1 for each. Can only be built in a separate slot. So that's, again, if we want to do a granary or a brewery, which we have the ability to do, that would give us some decent community. That's population size. Watchtower, on the other hand, is espionage. A tall structure that serves as a guard post. +1 to military when located in a settlement with a barracks, which we do not have yet. +1 to stability when located in settlement with walls, which we have the ability to make again here. That's what the green thing is, which is why you see wooden walls. So that's a possibility. And again, only built in separate slots. So, do we want to be happy, healthy people, or do we want to be protected people? And this is our main one. My attitude is watchtower. That's my first instinct. And I'm not going to build the wall just yet, but I'd like to have that going at least. Because remember, these aren't built yet anyway. So we'll be finished in 10 days. We'll be finished. It doesn't even show us on that one. We finished 7 days. I hate that it cuts it off and we can't see it. That sucks. But whatever. But yeah, so these will take days to build. So that's a thing. Now, we need other stuff. And we're already burning up BP left and right here. So we need to be a little careful here. But barracks goes towards military. And I'm cool with that. But we have espionage, economy, and longhouse. Where was longhouse at again? Which is community, divine, and culture. Yeah, all kinds of crap. So that's cool. Yeah, I'm cool with barracks. Oh, what's the barracks say? Building plus one military, plus one stability when adjacent to a longhouse, which is this thing here. I'm liking that. And I'm assuming adjacent means literally like here, 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 or here. I don't think the corners count, but I don't know that for a fact. Also, for those of you that are interested, if you screw up a build, you can move a building. To do it, you break it down, you get half your building points back. Yes, that sounds crappy, but if you rebuild it somewhere else, right after you sell it, you have to rebuild it, which takes time. But as you rebuild it, it only takes half the cost then to rebuild it. So it really is even wash, if not for the fact that you're wasting the time demolishing it and then rebuilding it. But at least if you make a uber mistake, you can fix it without too much of a problem. Okay, so there's our barracks. That gives us some military. What else we want to have? So we got military, longhouse, a bunch of crap. Community, divine culture. I like all that. And espionage and economy. So that's all good. What else? I don't have anything for relations or arcane. Let's see. Here's relations. Brewery. Okay. Affects the lumberyard. Walls. Barracks. Ooh, we did get the barracks. Okay, so that's good. So this will give us, when both of these are up, we'll get a +1 to military from this side. That's nice. This one will get +1 stability thanks to being built next to the longhouse, so that's nice. I'm cool with that. Alright, monument, community and loyalty, shops, economy again, shrines, divine, smithy, military, tavern, economy. Oh, can't do a windmill because we've taken up our spot for that. A wooden wall would be military, of course. Orphanage, community and loyalty. Restricted to baronies with a good alignment. Note that, guys. So we are good alignment, so we can do that. So that's okay. Monument. We need loyalty. These are basically the same. Affects Grand Temple, Shrine Temple, Temple, blah, blah, blah. More temples. Cool. Lumberyard. Economy. +1 relations when located in the summit with peers. A sacred grove cannot be built in the summit using lumber. This sounds like a good call. +1 relations, so that's going to be slapped right in the corner because it doesn't seem to interact with the longhouse. So that will affect our peers, giving us a +1 to relations for that. I'm cool with that. We have 265. Herbalist, loyalty, healer, poisoner, creator of potions, +1 to arcane when adjacent to a shrine. Do we have a shrine? We can make a shrine. Oh, +1 to loyalty when adjacent to a longhouse. See, here we go. Adjacent to a monument. Alright, so let's make it adjacent to a longhouse. And then what was that other one? The herbalist. Adjacent to a shrine. Alright. Adjacent to a monument. Statue of Sea Founder, bell tower, large. Cool. Slap that one there. Alright, now that's quite a bit of BP. We haven't used it all up. Maybe we should use a bit up more. We still have spots left on right to build faster than slower. Dance hall. What are we doing on stuff? 7 days, 7 days. I hope these all build in the same 7 days. Not one after the other, like a chain event. Like this one will be built at the same time that this one's built. That'd be nice. So I don't know that. Notice how it says ×1 lets you know that you've already built one, or two, or whatever, so that you don't have to rebuild it if you don't think you need it. We got 3 slots left. Let's see if we can fill those 3 slots, shall we? I like shops. Shops are cool. Smithy, I like smithies. And next to a shop, it's actually even better. Shop. Tavern. Economy, relation adjacent to a longhouse and espionage. Adjacent to a barracks. Oh, boo. So here's our barracks. Here's our longhouse. Which would we rather have? Espionage or relations? A shop. This just needs to be next to a tavern. Adjacent to a shop of a smithy. Granary. We're already doing pretty good for community, I think, though, right? Yeah, there's some community going on there. This one gives us community. Yeah. We're okay, I think, for that. Relations, on the other hand. Windmill, closest ability, want to locate someone with a tavern. So brewery and a tavern are obvious choices, I'd say. Man, I don't know. I'd say military is going to be important, but... Alright, let's do military. We'll do smithy and a shop. Just do a tavern, so it doesn't matter where we put the shop. The smithy just needs to be next to it. So, we're going to do a smithy here, and a shop there. And one last thing to build. Notice how we have 9 of 10. What can be made next to an herbalist? A longhouse. A lumberyard. Brewery. Dance hall. Loyalty. Ooh, +2 to loyalty. Wow, that's a big one. Restricted appearances with a chaotic alignment, so it must be a chaotic good. Probably were. In fact, now that I think about it, I usually pick chaotic good. Oh, granary, because I do my own thing. That's why. Granary. Let's do the granary. You know, it affects windmill. We don't have one. Hopefully we'll get that eventually. But I like the idea of having a granary. That's food. That's continual food, hence good growth. So let's do that. Alright, we backpedal out of here. Now, that's been quite a bit already, guys. I want to show you the main throne room, so to speak. We're done in here. So if we can skip a single day by clicking this. So if there's something that you want to finish up, like, oh, you came back to base early. Oh, it's one day out before everyone gets leveled up or we resolve something. You can just skip a day. I don't recommend it unless you know you're close. Skipping multiple days seems dumb when you could be exploring. So there's that. But if you've already done all the exploring you need to do and you don't have enough time to do it and get back for those things to roll in, I'd rather be in my base when stuff resolves itself, so you can see it happening in real time. So I think that's probably the way to go here. So let's actually do that. We're going to get out of here, and now we'll go back to our throne room. The downside of this, that many people are going to complain about, and posts, of course, are rampant with this, is you see we have a lot of loading screens. Every time you want to go somewhere different for your kingdom here, it's another loading screen. And the loading screens get to be long, so that can be a problem.
I feel tired.
Here we are back at our base. Notice how we are completely exhausted as well as fatigued. Again, if you go here, you'll see the stats for exhausted. -6 for strength, -6 for dex. We're really screwed. We definitely need to rest. However, we can walk and we can walk slowly. I'm going to come over here, open up this kit. We're not putting stuff away this time. We're actually taking stuff out. Alright, so now we're walking this way, and again, we can talk to Octavia and these other guys, blah, blah, blah. If you want to go back to castle functions and hiring and firing of people and what have you, then this is what you click on.
The path is clear.
Over here, you have this gentleman, though, and this was told to you by Keston when he walked you through the path and was telling you stuff. He's like, oh, by the way, there's this weird-ass old elf that showed up, and I didn't know what to do with him, so I just let him stay. Thanks, buddy. That's probably secure when you just let complete strangers that look weird and creepy stay with us. But actually, it's a good thing. So here's the storyteller. That's all you know about him, really. You talk to him, and you get some information about him, and I'm going to slip through all this crap. And basically, he's like super, super old, and he lost his sight. He used to be a smithy, if I remember correctly, or a craftsman of some kind. But basically, he's a storyteller, so he likes to tell stories about specific items. So, if you bring him relics, he can tell you stories about them, and he's willing to purchase them from you. So this is where those guy that collects relics is going to be. We can also, I found shards of an ancient artifact. Can you restore it for me at the anvil? So this is broken pieces of this, broken pieces of that. If you have all of the pieces or enough of the pieces, whatever that means, he may restore something and give you a magical item. So may I? The storyteller gently touches the items from your pack. So This scorched piece of metal is a part of a curious artifact known as the Necklace of Double Crosses. Inside it, I sense a story of many deeds, not heroic, but low and maleficent. If you find all of its fragments, I will be able to restore the artifact to recount its inglorious story. So obviously we don't have all of them. So just put those ones back in your little treasure chest to stop from carrying them around and just keep looking for more. Bring him some relics, though, already worthy of a story. So he looks through your pack. Let me take a look. He rummages through your pack and he finds this. A coin from a non-existent country. When the Coral the Conqueror mastered Rossland, having claimed it for Brevoy, he prohibited the issuance and use of such coins. Both ordinary folk and the Eldori sword lords were required to use new coins decorated with Coral's profile. But no one was quick to be rid of these prohibited coins. Oh no, in many houses they still store boxes and whole chests of such coins, waiting for the day when Rossland declares its independence. He took every gold coin that we have, these ancient Rosslandic coins. It says one, but he's taken them all. And he's given us $3,200 for it, guys. This is why you kept those things and didn't sell them. Then he goes further. He says he finds this symbol shaped like a tree leaf. What is this? I hear the voices of trees, smell the scent of fresh leaves. A dryad mark, is it not? I'd be happy to purchase it from you. And he bought all of our tokens of the dryad for 2,700 bones. Boom. The storyteller idly toys with the ancient plain-looking coin. The ancient Cyclops coin that we found. What was the name of the Kaloran ruler who issued this coin? Does anyone remember now? What did the Cyclops use it to purchase? Food, books, weapons? Perhaps someone's life or their freedom? Who can say? Its history was erased by the Earthfall, but I will buy it from you for significantly more than it was worth in its own time. $400 for that coin, or multiple coins. Then he went on to buy their Taldan warriors' dog tags. The storyteller weighs the soldier's tag in his palm. The soldier does not ask where the banners of war are headed. He or she goes to battle, dies, and leaves it to others to decide whether the cause was just. This tag belonged to one of the many warriors who helped establish the glory of the Taldan Empire. If you would permit me, I would gladly purchase it from you. $1,800 for those tags. The beginnings of brave heroes who performed their feats here before you. I sense you would be interested to hear their story, but there are too few of them here for me to recount it. Yet, please find the rest. I am sure you won't regret the time you spend in the search. Alright. I will need an advisor at my court. Would you like to serve me in matters of state? Storyteller's voice grows soft. Thank you for your words. I am unlikely to be able to interpret the intricacies of the political world or the affairs of the treasury, but my advice regarding the magic of the arts would be useful to any ruler. So he's basically going to be our magic advisor if we pick him. Leave him alone, and he'll be here the next time we need him, hopefully. Now, take a look at our cache, and B, all the stuff we lost. Okay, now we still missed some scorched fragment of a necklace. That's the double crossing necklace he was talking about, so we're missing some of those pieces. And I haven't done a playthrough once before, where at chapter 2, right at the beginning, I had enough of these pieces where he built the necklace for me. Boom, chapter 2, right at the start, which was amazing to me. So I must have just not found him, which means a perception check failed, or I didn't unlock the right box, or I didn't go to the right area. So that's a thing. He didn't purchase either of these things. So the relic collector will definitely pay much for this, but he didn't collect it for whatever reason. And we'll put these things away then. These are the items specifically for those guys. He didn't do anything with the Stag Lord's Broken Charm, which seems kind of odd to me that he didn't do that, because it looks like it's magic. I'm just going to keep it in the box then for the time being. Maybe he'll change his mind, and we'll find more Stag Lord pieces of crap later on. Who the hell knows? But I am going to keep it because it does seem to have an enchantment on it. So we will drop that off. Yeah, we have all these books here. I think we might get rid of some of these. These ones I'm fairly certain we want to keep, the of transmutation of bodily blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, there's another one there. Here's one, here's two. Okay, now we can sell these books off. I'm fairly certain none of these things are going to be interesting. Notice how Jubileus Narthropple is actually interesting in the simple fact that this is a character we're going to get. It's pretty funny to me. So that's probably a good indication that he's going to be our cook. I just thought of that. We'll sell off some of the stuff we don't need. Notice we're doing pretty decent. We got some diamond dust. We still got some herbs. We still have our rope. And let's do a quick rest. Press R. Now remember, this is just like in Oleg's, where you rest. Doesn't take as much time, 8 hours, and we fully rest up. Doesn't cost us anything to rest up. We have our beds. We can just click on it and rest. We have, of course, our other treasure chest in here, which is the same exact one that we were just at. So I don't know why they give you two. It just seems weird. I guess in case you press rest, you want to be able to unload it right there instead of walking out of your chamber to unload it, I suppose. Whatever. Oh, cutscene. Cassie, an unusual petitioner, approaches you, a tiefling girl. This is the person we actually should have met in the tutorial, which I don't think we did because we didn't have that specific patch. This is the newest patch that added the tieflings. A tiefling girl who appears to be a foreigner from the south. She makes a courtly bow, but her face betrays a coy smile. Greetings to the ruler of these lands. My name is Cassie. I come from the sands of Kadira, a special wind, the wind of opportunity and hidden treasure. Ooh, I like the sound of this. Has brought me to these lands. The tiefling waves her tail in excitement, and without all the polite words, here is what I want to say. I know the location of an ancient treasury, and I'm asking the Baroness's help to reach it and share in the loot. What kind of treasure is it? The remains of an ancient Taldan settlement destroyed long ago by the forces of nature. My friends came across an ancient chronicle that referred to this settlement and managed to locate the ruins, but they couldn't get inside, being too afraid. These lands are dangerous. Why don't you just go there yourself? My friends who visited the place said that it's filled with monsters and wild animals. I shouldn't like going there all alone. Besides, it would be wrong not to tell the ruler of a treasure found in her lands. This is true. We must discuss divine loot before we proceed. The girl nods. Of course, truth be told, I'm only interested in one thing, an artifact called the Disc of the Eclipse, which is supposed to be in the treasury. If my informants are not mistaken, I claim no rights to the rest of the loot, but who knows, perhaps the Baroness will have an overwhelming desire to reward their helpful assistant. Excuse me. Great, I like adventure. The tiefling bows again, tracing patterns on the floor with her tail. In that case, I will take leave and prepare for the expedition. I've already rented a house in your wonderful city. The Baroness is welcome to visit me anytime when you're ready to discuss our plans and dialogue. Okay, so now that is a sub-quest. Again, a specific quest for Cassie, Sorrowful. So as a matter of fact, let's get over here and press J for journal. Let's see what we got. So, we've completed these ones. Stolen lands are done. Boom. Companion quest. Prove your worth still with Amiri. We need to do Sorrowful now. So this is find Cassie in the capital and do her stuff. I don't know that this is something we can do at the beginning of chapter 2. I know they give it to us now, but it may be a rough mission. So this is something of importance. We will need to come back to it, but I do not see a time limit on it. So let's maybe level up once and then we'll come back and revisit it. How to build a kingdom. Add the outskirts to the barony, so they're still telling us that they want us to do that. Remember, we can do that, but it fast forwards 14 days, requires our physical presence to do it, which means for 14 days we're not exploring, we're not doing anything else except for all those other things that we've assigned our advisors to do. That's not that that's bad, but remember we had a couple of quests that we had there that was like 7 days long. Those will be done, and we'll still burn 7 more days before we can come back and see what happened, right? So that's a thing. An ancient curse, loyal servants. Is that the treasurer? The applicant for the position must be smart, well-educated, keen, honest, beyond a doubt. So we need a treasurer. That's something that we need to look into. Here's a curse. Remember, it will fail in 41 days and 16 hours. So note that. And again, this is where those 14 days of zipping by, if it was less than 14 days and we click that, oh yeah, I want to take the outskirts, we would fail this because 14 days would go zip and this would fail and we'd be screwed. So if we click it now, again, 14 days would go by. This would be a lot less than what we're at right now. So again, we still have time, but not much time. Looks like they gave us 42 days to complete it because we just burnt 8 hours in resting. And we got to get ready for anything, so that means get prepared. So we got a lot of stuff still to do, and all these ones are done. So we're basically working on these things: Sorrowful, proving our worth, or anything else we can find by randomly roaming the area. Now let's get outside. Faster, please. This would be the part that you hate: walking slowly everywhere. All right. And the only thing I really want to do before we end this video is actually take you to the shop. There's 2 of them. One is just a weapons slash smith merchant. So he's arms and armament, which we can look at him first. And then the other one sells everything, including arms and armament. So That guy's my favorite. But both have good gear, and both have different gear, so that's a reason to check on both. Now, being that this is not a solo run, we're going to have that issue again where we want to make sure all of our people are equipped. So that's the thing. We want to make sure that everybody's happy, and everybody's trained up, everyone has the right spells, all that good jazz. Now, pause real quick just to show you where we're at. So here's our main base. If you go over here, there's a little icon to click like you're leaving the town. It's not. It's leaving the town and going into the bar. So the bar is actually this little icon that's over here. There's houses. This is the house with, what's her name? And I'm fairly certain, Cassie's house, yeah. Into the house, and you can literally rob your people. I don't know what that's about. Seems kind of weird, counterintuitive to me that you can literally walk into their home and just say, hey, I see you got some stuff. I'm just going to take these. I mean, obviously I'm going to do it, but whatever. So here's this guy, and then here's this guy. He's the weaponsmith / armor smith. He sells everything. So let's go to talk to Vertil first. I'm just going to fast forward into seeing what he has. We'll talk about him later. And you see where I got people upgrades that we need to get done. We'll do that in a moment. We have stuff that we can sell. Masterwork light crossbow, books. And he has some expensive shit. He has adamantine full plate. Now again, for those that don't know what that does, not only is it a +1 item, it literally allows you to resist incoming physical attacks. They are lessened. And there's no way to penetrate them as far as I know, hence the dash. So all damage, physical damage coming in is absorbed. 1 if it's light armor, 2 if it's medium armor, or in this case, since it's heavy armor, it's a 3. So that's a pretty big one to slap on a main tank, for instance. They will take a beating and a half. Now this full plate, on the other hand, is mithril. Notice the difference. Mithril, you have a max dexterity of 3 now instead of the 1, which is what this full plate had. Arcane spell failure 25, this one was 35, so it's down by 10%. Armor check penalty of -4 for the adamantine full plate, -2 for this one. So you see the reason that mithril is useful. It lowers your armor check penalty, your arcane spell failure chance, increases your max dexterity that you can afford by wearing that armor. So pretty useful stuff because it's lighter. Other than that, it's also a +1 enchantment on it, so there's that too. So these ones basically provide the same amount of armor class, different amount of stuff that's going on for them. So do you want to take more of a beating? Do you want to have, do you have a higher dexterity and therefore can capitalize on that? Well, that's what full plate's for. That's mithril. He has all these weapons. Notice how we have cold iron, a lot of cold iron stuff, cold iron hand axe, cold iron longsword. Good for fighting those fey creatures that we're probably going to come into in this game. Tongi, just another +1 weapon. Some regular stuff, some masterwork stuff. Seems to be a specific list. Here's a nice elven curved blade. That's a masterwork though, so we haven't seen that yet. That's something you might want. Some regular armor, and of course the stuff we just sold him. So nothing really to write home about that we're going to get today. This guy, on the other hand, we're going to just go right to see what he has. And again, pricing descending. A bigger bag of holding. Notice how this one holds 200 pounds. And from what I understand, you can hold more than 1 bag of holding on the character. So if we can get this one and another one and another one, it just increases my negative number here by leaps and bounds before we can get overloaded with stuff, which is cool. Then we have a lesser kinetic item. This is a new upgrade. This is one specific for those kineticists that the game just added for the last DLC. Stratagem, this is a nice rapier. It's agile and +2. Remember, I have a rapier on one of my characters here, and it's the agile +1 rapier. So this one's a step in the right direction, +1 more, but it's basically the same damn thing otherwise. So if you didn't find it, this is your option for picking up one. Again, pricey as hell, but definitely worth it. Remember, this is the one that adds your strength bonus instead, or your dex bonus, excuse me, instead of your strength bonus to the damage. If it did both, if it added your dex bonus and still allowed your strength bonus, I'd say go for it. This is obviously for a dex-based build. This would be a good build for a rogue. This would be something that you use for a rogue. This would be something you'd use for a magus. Because again, the crit range is 18, 19, and 20. See that right there. So this is a good weapon for them. And again, if you're a dex-based magus, which I believe I am not. Or actually, maybe I am. Yes, I am. Matter of fact, I think I am. And I think I have this lesser version on this character. So yes, I could get this. Yes, it would be better than the one I have, but only by a +1. And I can bump it up to a +2 by my natural abilities anyway. But yeah, if I hadn't found it, this would be the one I'd slap on me. Notice how there's a lesser maximized metamagic rod. It's the first time we've seen this. This one literally for levels 3 spell or down will do full damage on a hit. So a fireball spell that could potentially do, 10d6 damage. So that's up to 60 points of damage per person that got hit with it. You could guarantee it's 60. Now, of course, it's not guaranteed because they could reflex save or they could be spell resistant, but you get the idea. If they took damage, they would take 60. If they took reflex damage and cut it in half, they would take 30. But that's still huge. And you can do that 3 times a day. These are rods. Remember, they replenish themselves when you take a nap. So just like your extend rods and our reach rods and our empower rods that we have, that's what this one does. It basically gives you the metamagic feat for 3 uses a day for those low level spells. Obviously it's because it's the lesser version. Then there's the regular version that I want to say goes to level 6. And then there's the greater version, which goes all the way up to level 9 if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty badass. So look for those. Necklace of the Eternal Hunter. +2 bonus to attack rolls and +4 bonus on damage rolls against animals and magical beasts. That's pretty sweet. Pricey as all hell, but yeah, I like damage and I like a better chance to hit. Frost dueling sword, so a cold based weapon. A really nice dueling sword. For those of you that are interested in doing that sort of thing, here's some extra damage for you then. Flaming bastard sword, pretty sweet as well. And again, the damage is comparable, 3 to 15, 3 to 17. It's a minuscule difference here. The crit ranges are the same, but the dueling sword obviously is a dueling sword. So, you know, for those that don't know, that you could use, if you have the ability to use a dueling sword and you have the right training in it, I want to say you can add to your armor class because you're parrying with it, technically. Flail +2, obvious, decent magical weapon. Corrosive heavy flail +1. Now this is different, so this is some acid damage for a melee character. That's a pretty nice increase. Ring of protection +2 now, pricey, but we can afford 2 of them. Flame guard tower shield. This one's kind of nice. Now is it a magical shield that gives them increased reflexes +3. That's pretty sweet, as well as a fire resistance 10. So when you have your tanky tank running up front, that's with a tower shield, and she has poor reflexes because she's a tank, this gives her a decent tank reflex bump and protects her from fire damage, which is usually nice AoE stuff. So that 10 resistance, that's pretty nice. I could see getting this on your main tank. Amulet of Natural Armor, now +2 version again, versus the +1s we've been seeing. Again, it's still pricey. Ring of Luck, this is new. +1 to all saving throws, but notice how it's a luck bonus. So when you have a Cloak of Resistance, that's a resistance bonus. That's different. Those would stack. So Ring of Luck and a Cloak of Resistance should stack. So that's a +1 for both of them. So that would be a +2 to your Fortitude, +2 to your Reflex, and +2 to your Will saves by having a Ring of Luck and a Cloak of Resistance on you. Quarter of Stubborn Fury. Now, this one's going to be for your Ragers. I'm assuming this would be Barbarians only. When you have Fatigue, the Fatigue doesn't kick in. Instead of you being fatigued, after you get done raging, you take a point of damage each round that you were... 1 damage each round for a number of rounds equal to 2 times the number of rounds spent in rage. So if you rage for 1 round, then you're taking 2 points of damage. The tick and the tick. If you rage for a full 10, you're taking 20 points of damage. That's pretty gnarly. But you're not fatigued. So if you really want to be able to rage again, that's the reason that this is kind of nice. But again, burns through your health, so be careful. Ring of the Beast King. This is interesting for those that summon an animal companion. They get a +2 enhancement bonus to strength and dexterity scores, so long as you're wearing your ring. Pretty badass. Cloak of Shadows. This would be one that I'd like to buy. Actually, I probably will. +10 to enhancement bonus to all stealth skill checks and immunity to blindness and dazzling. That's 2 big effects right there. That's kind of sweet. And of course, that stealth skill check's pretty sweet as well. If you are soloing, this would be an item that you must get, in my opinion, because it's going to give you a +10. You just leave it in your inventory when you need it, when you're resting and you're solo. The only thing you're going to do is you're going to burn a ration because you're not going to hunt. You're going to put this cloak on and you're going to stealth your camp because you're the only one there. You will cook the food naturally. It will fail because all you're doing is literally eating a ration. But you'll get your spells back. You will heal up if you have the ability to do so, and you should stealth pretty good for the night so you're less likely to get jumped. This is extremely useful tactic for those that are soloing. Highly recommended for those people. Helmet of Battlefield Clarity, +2 insight bonus on will saves. Remember now, notice how it says insight bonus. Again, those are your clues, guys, that these things will stack with other bonuses. Oh, that's will save. Would that stack with the Cloak of Resistance? Yes, because those are resistance bonuses, not insight bonuses. They're not the same thing. So a Cloak will give you a +1 to all those things. Will, Fortitude, Reflex. Having this would give you another +2 to your will. So they should stack. Also gives the wearer Combat Expertise. If they have that, they get a +2 bonus to attack rolls. I'm assuming that's using the Combat Expertise feat. Chain shirt +2, leather armor +2, nothing super stellar about these. I mean, obviously better than the chain shirt +1s that we have, and leather armor +1, but we have better gear than that right now. Trap Springer gloves, on the other hand, another useful thing to buy, especially for solo runs. +5 competence bonus on all trickery skill checks. So when you need to pick that lock, or you need to disarm that trap, slap on your Trap Springer gloves, you just got a +5 to your check. It's pretty sweet. I can see that being extremely useful for a solo run. Ring of Plentiful Hunts, again, +1 bonus to damage rolls, and with a bow, and a +2 luck bonus on lore nature checks. And again, it's a luck bonus, so it wouldn't work with another luck bonus to those checks. Obviously, that's not a common thing. This is a way to stack them. Again, this is the reason why you want that. Lesser Phylactery of Positive Channeling. Now, this one's interesting. I think you had a chance to find something like this in the Chapter 1, but we didn't get it. Lesser Phylactery of Positive Channeling. This one literally increases the amount of damage you do or the amount of healing you do with that AoE burst. Now, remember, he has that ability, and it's pretty lame. The more levels you get, the better it gets. Another 1d6 for every third level, or odd level, I think is what it is. But this is basically just gives it to him. Poof, here you go. That's kind of nice. And again, it works for both of them. So the one that does damage and the one that heals. So whichever one you're using, you either do more damage or you'll do more healing. So pretty damn sweet. Lesser Glove of Dueling. I can't say a whole lot of good things about it. I'm sure it's helpful for other people, but not me. Headband of Wisdom +2. I think we have that already on somebody, but we have the ability to buy it. Same with Dexterity, Strength. Wand of Fireball. Now we're talking, baby. It's pricey, but who wouldn't want to have 9 fireballs that you can cast at level 8? That's what this is saying. Caster level 8, so that's an 8d6 fireball you're throwing out 9 times. And yes, it's pricey, $32.40, but take that, divide by 9, because that's how many times you can use it, and that's what 36 would be 400. So it's less than $400 a casting. Yeah, it's pricey, but if you line up and you corral a decent number of guys in a nice AoE effect, it could pay for itself by just obliterating mobs of guys. So I can see this being a good purchase. Eyes of the Eagle, another good soloing item to buy. Helmet, when you're wearing it, you get a +5 to perception checks. Again, if you know the area well enough to know that there's going to be a perception check, slap this on your solo character and run around the area after a quick save, of course, to see if you can unlock or perceive all those hidden items. Wand of Scorching Ray, another good purchase. 21 charges, and it's $1,890. It's only a level 3 casting, which means you only get 1 ray, but that's 46 damage, single target. It still does a ray touch attack check, but remember, we have that ability, so that's pretty decent. Cloak of Resistance +1, again, a resistance bonus to all saving throws. Remember, the wording is important. Potions of Heroism now, that's pretty nice, with a pricey, but cast level 5 means that's a 50-minute potion. That's a pretty good potion, I'd say. We got other scrolls that we're going to want to purchase for the characters that have the ability to scribe, a fireball, haste, hold person, all good spells. Got some cure serious wounds scrolls now, potions too, dinosaur bones now. You know, those are used for certain spells. Those are what do you call them? Components for spells. Build points. 80 gold a piece, and he has up to 25,000 he can sell you. You don't have enough money to buy that, but this is if you really burnt up your build points and you really need some more. Here you go. And again, some random stuff. A crowbar, on the other hand, I know it sounds silly, but I'm going to take that crowbar. I'm also going to take enough camping supplies for a party of 6 twice. No. Do that. Like so. And that's going to be important. We are going to take a full party of 6 with this. Let's see. And I don't know what the crowbar is used for, but I definitely want it. So I'll go with that. And we got a rope as well. So that could be useful. What was those things that I wanted to buy for myself? Bag of Holding obviously would be a wonderful item to buy. Cloak of Shadows, probably. Craftsman gloves. Yeah. Those are really good, in my opinion. So, first, notice how we have Cloak of Resistance. I can slap this on and get the stealth and immunity to blindness and dazzling. Remember, we're also a Aasimar, so we already have the protection from some of those things already anyway. But it's a thing. She does not. I want to get to my actual team. Jaethel doesn't have a whole lot of anything. Let's slap that on Jaethel. Bring your protection +1. And she can use the. No, I don't want her having Cloak Shadows. Who is my sneak thief? Is it you? Yeah, Eldritch Scion. Here you go. You're getting a Cloak of Shadows, honey, and you're gonna also getting. Well, no, I'm still gonna do the picking up the traps if I can. So I'm gonna slap those on me. Those go here, not here. So be warned that those are slightly different slots. So that's nice. And here was Jaethel. You go, honey. You can have this Cloak of Resistance too. Why not? Get you up a little bit. Alright. So let's do some level ups. Notice how these guys leveled up when we weren't even with the party. So again, we get missions that we get assigned previously, where when we complete the mission, everyone gets XP, regardless of whether you've clicked on that thing where only people in the party get XP or only people that use their skills get the XP. They will still get XP for certain things. Big missions, for instance. So that's why these guys got some level ups that we didn't address earlier. Only one level, huh? Well, that's sucky. Well, at least she's level 2. Shouldn't complain. Okay. Now, with that, let's actually get out of here. And I'm going to show you...
Hello, my savior.
Apparently this.
You asked if we'd meet again. And here I am.
Hey, hot stuff. How you doing?
I see your fate has changed since last we met. Now you are the ruler who will determine the destiny of these lands. I am their living heart, the whisper of the wind, the strength of rivers, the luxuriant growth of the meadows. Do you wish to touch this power?
Oh my. She likes my ruler. Oh yeah.
I will show you a place where we can finally meet in flesh, you and I. Deep in the woods, there is an old mossy ruins, long abandoned, nearly swallowed by the thicket. There is an old tree growing among the stones in the yard, which I remember as a seed. A shadow under its green crown I call my verdant chambers. Visit me there, my lady, and come alone. A nymph's reward awaits you.
Oh, sassy turn. Yeah, her verdant chambers. She's gonna let us in her chambers. Sweet. Alright. It's just some awesome angels here. I don't have some time to wander through some thicket. Who the hell are you? Wait, I wish to ask you something.
Forgive me. Nymphs are not made for cities. The noise and vanity of human settlements vex me. I will answer all your questions, but there, in the silence of my asylum.
I don't need any reward. Seeing you is the best reward for me.
Then come to my chamber and be my guest. We'll share stories and laughter, imagine the future, and dream. So long, I will await you there, as the ground waits for spring under the heavy winter snow.
You just called me heavy. Bitch, who do you think you're talking to? Anyway,
Tread
whatever.
lightly.
So, apparently we have another mission. Here, let's actually take a look at that. Just reward. Alright. The nymph suggested the Baroness set off to her chambers, an old tree growing inside the ruins in the middle of the woods. She didn't invite anyone else. Looks like the nymph is only interested in offering her reward to the Baroness. Yeah, that's right. She loves my action. Okay, well, with that, my name is Brothermutant. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think so far. Again, apologize for not having a whole lot of combat here, and I know this video was super long today, but I think it is important. Get this on the right path. We're going to go check out a little verdant chambers here in the next episode, if you will. And then we'll probably come back, if there's nothing else to explore, solo. Remember, we are running solo to that particular location, but then we'll want to get a party together proper and go have some fun. But with that, I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.